Evening, everybody. It's Monday at 10:30 on the East Coast and 7:30 on the West Coast. James, how you doing? It's time for your weekly Calamity Jane live stream. I got that out. I managed to get it out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's doable.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
You
It's a
can
good.
see I've shaved. It is temporary. I promise. Um, I like this probably less than everybody watching does.
It's just it's the what's the it's the minimalist look for Eric today.
Yeah,
You
right.
know.
Yeah, exactly. No, the beard will be coming back. I have shaved it because I'm in a play this week, and I have to have it shaved for the play. But once the play is done, the beard will be immediately returned. Um, if I have to
You
get
have
hair
it.
plugs to get the beard returned, it will be
You have it in a
returned.
box someplace and just kind
I
of
do
put
like
it
sort
right.
of save, yeah, and then I'll just glue it. It'll be really patchy, right?
Yeah.
I think there was some woman recently I heard that like she used gorilla glue in her hair to get a particular
Oh my gosh, why?
hairstyle, and I think she immediately regretted that. I feel really bad that someone would do that to themselves.
Oh my word, that stuff is
Um,
pretty powerful. I love it. I mean, for household,
yeah, for
use.
household use, right? Exactly. Not for hair stuff, but oh well. How you doing, James?
Can't complain. Can't
That's good to
complain.
hear. That
Yeah.
is good to hear.
How are you doing at this minute?
I am currently giving you access to share the screen.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. Dang it. I
yes.
was kind of hoping to. We'll get into that right now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm doing okay. It's busy. Rehearsing for plays is always hard. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's fun. It's not a complaint at all.
Hmm.
I do it because I thoroughly enjoy it. But it is hard work. There's a lot of hours. There's a lot of lines of dialogue that you have to memorize and blocking. Acting is a lot harder than improv
Yeah, it's about
in some
being
ways.
accurate, and
Yeah, it's
you can sort of you can kind of use improv to kind of do stuff on the fly, but not right. I mean,
yeah.
um,
And I think
uh,
I feel almost certain that we've had this conversation before on this stream, so I don't want to belabor the point. But yeah,
mhm.
it is interesting what a different set of performance skills and sort of mental muscles you use when you're acting versus when you are doing improv.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. It's the only thing you really get to rely on is the adrenaline part of it, being on stage. But other than that, then yeah, the technical stuff is all different.
Yeah, I know
Feels.
it is interesting. It definitely I mean, there's definitely a high when you're on stage when you're performing. There's no
Hmm.
question about it.
Hmm.
The because it's live and it's happening in real time. The chances of you screwing up and all that stuff. And it's interesting, like uh, with a play. There's always this concern of forgetting your lines or not or somehow missing a beat or missing your blocking or something along those lines.
Hmm.
But then in improv, you're just mostly worried that you're just not funny.
Yeah, yeah, that's the death knell right there. You need to have funny.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, unless you're trying to do dramatic improv, which is a thing. Um, but yeah. But in any case, so it's been fun. We open on Thursday, and there actually is a virtual things like the theater that we're performing at is really doing a good job of trying to accommodate for the pandemic, and they've actually set up a live stream system where you can buy tickets and watch it from the comfort of your home. So
oh, that's nice.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think we talked about that last time when you were in your other play. I can't remember if I asked you offline or not about how do I get tickets to watch a stream, because that's, I
Yeah.
mean, I naturally just assume everybody's doing that these days. But I know with the smaller mom and pop places, it's kind of difficult. I get that. So
Well,
that's
I've been
cool. They
really,
figured
yeah, I've
it
been
out.
really impressed with this theater. They've done a really good job of doing some much needed upgrades in the last couple of months,
That's good.
and the live streaming feature is been one of the biggest boons in my opinion. So, um, so I see that you're working on Calamity's Hands, just to completely change topic with no transitions whatsoever.
Hmm.
And you are doing a bit of outline work right now on her hands. Um,
Yes. And
what do you want to accomplish by this work right now?
the reason why I'm doing this, hang on, I got to undo some things, is right now you see when I zoom out, I don't want her hand to bleed into her tail.
Yeah.
So that was one option I was going to do. The other option I might do, and so you notice that I like both hands have outlines now, which I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll have to play the symbols here that Flash Animate uses to.
I did notice that you were doing making changes to one hand and it was affecting both hand mirrored, which seems like a really powerful feature.
It can be, yes, for symmetry, it's great. So I've used. If you notice this arm, this whole arm is right here. I have it up here. This whole coding thing I got right arm
I see.
for Calamity. On this side, I'm using the same thing on right arm. These are the exact same arms.
So it's just an
That's why
instant.
you
Okay.
saw the lines kind of going back and forth on both. But
I see.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to just right click on this one and duplicate it and make it a left arm. And this type of thought process kind of goes through all of Animate when you're playing with what they call symbols, which is what I'm doing here. I'm editing the symbol. So now this left arm is now technically on the top level of it,
Mm-hmm.
different than this arm, but yet they still share stuff inside of it, inside of its Tupperware container, for lack of better description. And in that Tupperware container of that arm,
Mm-hmm.
I have a hand left here with this line work. And if I go back to this other Tupperware container with the other arm, I also have hand left using the same stuff. So what I want to do is I want to make this arm that hand belongs on the left side. On this side, I want to go with a right arm for here,
Mm-hmm.
so I can actually edit it and not worry about it. And that's where this Hando one, which I didn't put the right naming on it, is
Shame
gonna
on you,
yeah,
breaking
so
your own
shame on me.
nomenclature rules.
Yeah, but now that works.
Great. So it's
Now
interesting. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, you can see now that now the line is breaking up against that tail, which is
Right.
good, and it breaks up against here, so you can see the definition of the hand. But there's no other line work here. So design wise, that was my choice that I made, and that's it's kind of a headache to do sometimes. Whether I want to keep like the challenge with this is as soon as she animates someplace, I won't need that extra line anymore.
That's an interesting.
It's a dilemma.
It's useful
It's a
for the
dilemma
pros,
design
but
problem that
right,
I'm kind
right.
of painting myself in a corner with. The way to get around it is I could always just tweak her tail.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just kind of doing this on the fly and just discussing it out loud.
Well, no, I think this is a
And
good thing to talk about in terms of. I mean, these are real challenges that you have to consider um, when you're working on these poses.
so this could be the other way around. So I could do this and just her tail sort of I kind of use her tail as a cheat to kind of
Mm-hmm.
just be a little bit of a shade off. Anywhere else, if it's a profile view, I'll still revert to a normal shade.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't have to worry about. Let me just swap out this arm again, this hand for the right hand. It's a cheat, but they're still it's kind of separated now,
Yeah,
and it's a cheat.
absolutely, right, and it gives it a little bit of a depth as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By did you desaturate that, or you just bring the color
Uh,
down?
what did I do here? I went into the color field thing, whatever the technical term is, and I brought the color picker down, the hue down just a
Oh, you
bit. I
brought the
could do
hue down.
saturation
Okay,
instead, and
okay,
I
okay.
could play with it this way. I don't know.
Right.
But I stuck with hue in this case. The hue of it's just a little bit different. Um, so what's funny though is this whole problem I have doesn't matter in this shot. As you can see,
Right.
the shot actually has her hands broken off anyway.
It was the solution in search of a problem,
Yeah,
kind of.
I
But
was just, yeah, but I'm trying to think ahead a little bit. Is all I'm
yeah,
trying to
absolutely.
do.
I mean, I think that this
Um,
kind of neutral standing pose is something that we're likely to see from her on more than one
mhm.
occasion.
Yes, exactly, and full body shots. The full shot of her. That's going to happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to face this. I have to deal with this problem anyway. Anyway, this feels like the faster way to do it, and I kind of want to because again we're such a small little crew. Faster is going to be better in this case, so we can keep moving forward. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't know if I want
I
to.
think just decreasing the hue
Mm-hmm.
of her tail is, I think, the more elegant way. And I honestly, I think it looks better because the outlines, frankly, it betrayed the design ethos that you have for the art, and this preserves it by just changing the hue slightly.
Yeah, the whole line thing was only meant to be a cheat just to separate color on top of color if they happen to share the same,
Hmm.
color chip.
Right, and in the
Um,
case of like you said with her animating, it was going to be like how do you use it, right? Like it's fine if she's just standing there idle like that, but the second she starts swinging her hands around, then what are you going to turn the lines on and off? I mean, like what would
yeah,
be the yeah.
yeah. See, but here's another thing. See, like you can see here, her chest. I need to put a line here just
Hmm.
to help break off the shoulder. And that again, I'll probably just use a cheat, the same kind of this line, the same type of line I use for her mouth. Kind of do that as a cheat. So yeah, it's around, or it's not that bad. I don't know.
I mean, in this instance, I don't know that that's that bad.
Yeah, the silhouette's not too. I mean, the silhouette's still good enough.
Yeah.
It still says what I wanted to say. So I think we're okay on this one. So this shot has a couple more poses in it that I need to work on. But I'll move on to that in a little bit. But yeah, she looks left and then right.
Over there, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So though, but if you notice, like it's really just two new drawings. I have to make a new drawing for this and a new drawing for her looking the other way. So I'll get to that in a little bit, but I'll keep moving forward with just kind of blocking out more. Just put Calamity where I can tonight
Hmm.
um, in this whole scene, and then go from there. So this shot again, we could use that same pose.
Well, so this is a question. Will there be a lot of, will there be any in between frames between the looking forward left and right, or is it going to be a snap?
No, it's going to be. My intention was to have those to be in between.
Hmm.
Because I want the look. I'll try to act it out here, but when she's looking, she's like looking straight ahead, and then her when she's gonna look left and right, it's gonna be kind of slow because she has to analyze what's going on. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be more like,
I see.
and then look to the right.
Like
Like it's
she's
gonna be
sort of
kind of.
taking in the
Yeah,
environs.
it's more of a timid. It's a timid look left and right. So that
Sure.
means I'm gonna put some in betweens in there, which I've kind of been thinking about through my in my head how I'm gonna do that. I'm not as concerned about that. It's gonna be fun to do, and maybe we'll save a stream for that later. I might use I could use the good old fashioned animate here, this program, and do that and just hand draw it each frame. Or I could probably try to use After Effects uh, animation of vector points in that program. And it's actually not too bad either. So I have to experiment offline, and then I'll show you guys. I'll show you and the rest of the folks out there in the land what I thought was the better way to go. And
Wonderful.
there's no right or wrong way. I mean,
Right.
you
It's
can't
whatever
do
it
it.
ever.
Or,
It's whatever gets you where you need to
yeah,
go.
yeah. So let me. I'll just block in that other shot with that. So I got to scroll back a little bit. But anyways, yeah. So what we're doing tonight is
Yeah,
kind
just
of
working on
laying
that.
in laying in the early groundwork for Calamity to do her thing in this scene.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, yeah, I think I mentioned this to you at last night or last week when I was signing off. I just seeing Calamity in the even the neutral pose. It's a constant reminder of how much I really like the designs that you've done for the characters in the show. I just really
Thanks.
think she's a really strong looking character. I think all of the characters are really strong looking.
But
Um,
when you and I put our heads together, started creating this, it's funny because this has been a like even if I'm drawing stuff on paper and whether you're writing stuff, we kind of use each other as a filter.
yeah,
Like this is really a process between both of us because if you recall back in the day when Calamity was being designed, like we went through a couple of weeks of what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And like
yeah,
what spoke to us, right?
yeah.
So it truly was. And I know. In the physical sense, you're not putting a pencil down, but the conversation is just as important, and the ideation that comes through talking is just as important. So again, that's so it's kudos to you too for helping with the design
Well,
because
I am happy to take credit. I'm not gonna turn away credit. So yes, this was my idea. Thank you for acknowledging it.
um, I want to show you. I want to, not to take. I mean, thanks for the compliment too on the flip side of that. But I want to show you something kind of fun I want to do here
Okay.
with
Yeah,
animating. It
I'm
makes it
ready.
fun. Um, if you remember in our animatic, we have this scene here, and she walks forward. It's really slow on my computer. It's
Yeah.
chugging, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go into this symbol that I made from the animatic. Now this is all that hand drawn stuff I did before.
Yeah.
It's all there. So now I'm going to, if it'll stick. Let's see if it will. It's taking forever. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. Okay, there it is. Okay, put this here. I will now take this out and delete it. I will save it just in case it crashes on me because sometimes animates can get really grumpy. So now I get to watch a really boring saving sequence. And yep, it flashed. I don't know if you can see it on your side, but it's flashing black for me.
It's just a save not responding to me right now.
It's a great sign. That's the feature of Adobe Animate. Isn't that great? Not
Oh,
responding,
there we go.
crash,
Now it's saving.
and then it does it. It's a wonderful thing.
It always just wants to keep you on your toes.
It does. I don't. I'm always on my toes with this program. But yeah. So now we have it in there. Now let's watch, and you'll see. She'll now is walking.
Nice.
Now it's not perfect.
Nice.
It's just one frame. I'll change that. But now the
Right.
blocking's there. We've got that blocking in.
Wow, that's really cool.
So
you literally just swapped out the symbol, but it preserved the animation frames.
yes, exactly. So like here on Animate, we see these little. All these are just computational tweens of that piece of artwork going all the way across the screen. And we're going to go to the next scene. I won't bother with this shot. This shot's, I mean, it's going to be probably a 4 frame cycle of her walking.
Right.
Well, I'll skip that. But we're going to go to this next. We're going to go to this scene.
Okay. So this is a back profile, back 3/4 profile shot. Or is it? No, this is a side profile.
This is side profile, yes.
Yeah.
But this other one was it's a straight on, pretty much a straight on back shot here. Yeah. Then we're going to we'll go to profile on this one now. And so for that, again, a couple weeks ago, if you recall, we were doing a walk cycle profile.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, and
How
again,
interesting.
All the frames aren't there yet, but that's okay. I'm gonna still use what I got here, and I'll start tweaking some stuff a little bit. And I'll make the more pensive looking Calamity with this pose on her head, and we're gonna take this sequence of animation and put it here.
Now, the only comment I have is that that animation that you were working on is sans tail.
Mm-hmm.
Not with tail. Will you have to do some weight modifications or the weighting modifications to get her posture right?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think we should cheat.
Oh.
I think we're gonna do it without the tail in this one and just imply that the tail is there because I like the line of action that she has here where she's kind of more defensive. If she's hunched over, it's more her. Especially for this scene, it feels like she's more weighted down from. She's not stressed from the environment. She's stressed from just lugging her tail around.
So here we go again, where I agree with you. I think you're right. Where body language can have a massive effect.
Yeah.
On how an audience reads what's happening in the scene, and
yeah,
and I think this is a really good lesson in general. Like, you know, it's sort of the classic. You have to know what the rules of the world are before you can break them.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of seems like what needs to happen here is we know what the rules of the world are. Now that you know what they are, you can break them when you need to, right? And this is sort of one of those instances.
And in animation terms, I mean, it's all like there's the classic term is just line of action. Like, what's your line of action saying? And and again, and this is where animation. This is what I love about animation, and where it kind of crosses over with acting or improv too. I mean, because you are pretty much acting with a pencil. So that's why it's so great that you are doing improv and acting.
So much of it right now, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, I know, and it's one of those things too. And again, a topic I won't belabor because we've burned many hours talking about it. But this wasn't like a life's pursuit, right? Like, I wasn't one of those kids who sort of got bit by the bug at age 6 and then went to Juilliard and then waited tables. I worked in the games industry as we all famously know for quite a long time and sort of discovered improv by accident, right? And that time spent in improv led to more traditional acting performance work stuff. But yes, it has made a dramatic impact on how I write, which is exactly what all of my writing teachers told me it would do. So I guess I had good teachers.
Hmm. Um, I can't, it's been a while. How did you get into improv again? Was it just off your friend got you into it?
But
Said
no,
that.
I mean here's the full story. And for all of you who have been binge watching our archives of live streams, this will be familiar to you. For those of you who haven't, maybe it is new. I have taken so many writing classes in my life. I probably have enough credit hours to qualify for a writing degree, but because I
Hmm.
did them all ad hoc at community colleges from independent teachers and that kind of things, I obviously don't have a degree in writing. And I kind of got burnt out of taking writing classes, and I knew this when I finished off a memoir writing class. Like I don't really have any intention of writing a memoir or anything like that, but I was so desperate for something different that I took a memoir writing class, and the class ended up being great, and I loved it. It's not a disparagement against that class at all. In fact, it was one of my favorite writing classes. But at the end of it, I was like, I don't want to take any more writing classes. And then I remembered how many teachers always told me, or not just me specifically, but everybody, if you want to write better dialogue, you owe it to yourself to take an acting class or to take improv classes because you get a sense of what it's like to deliver lines as intended, as a performer, right?
Hmm.
When you write, you hear the lines slightly differently in your head and they're somewhat internalized. But when you're actually on stage, whether there's an audience or not, but when you're on stage with other actors performing lines of dialogue, the way you think about the lines of dialogue, the way you think about the writing and how one line of dialogue leads into the other and how performers can feed off of each other, right?
Hmm.
It fundamentally changes the nature of the words. And so a sentence that you wrote that was particularly innocuous can become extremely threatening if it's delivered a particular way by a particular actor.
Hmm.
And so acting teachers, give that basic spiel and say, so take an acting class or take an improv class. And I was in the mood to take a class because I do like doing that when I still had like a job that I loathed and needed to do anything to
Hmm.
sort of break the cycle of bad jobs. I was always looking for new classes to take, and uh, um, and I remember that statement. And so I was still living in Seattle at the time. I Googled acting classes Seattle and clicked on the very first link, which was an improv company named Unexpected Productions. And it just so happens that Unexpected Productions was teaching improv classes on the east side of Lake Washington, which is the burbs, which is where I lived. And I
Hmm.
was like, good enough. So I signed up for literally the next one. That was it. That was as much research, that was as much planning as I did. And I walked into Improv 100 not having any expectations, knowing only that I was taking it because I wanted to write better dialogue. And what turned into this lark basically has become a lifelong passion for me, or at least as much as 4 years can be a lifelong passion, I guess.
Hmm.
And it was, yeah. I mean, it changed my life. I mean, I have friends still that I talk to um, uh, online now, obviously for lots of reasons, that I met in that first improv class. We went through the entire program together.
Hmm.
As a result of those improv classes, I joined the tech team at Unexpected Productions. I participated in a few shows, was there almost every Wednesday doing their open mic night.
Hmm.
It was as true as a life changing experience can be, like in the literal sense of the word. You can measure time in my life before improv and my life after improv.
Hmm.
I've run into so many people in the years since I've started doing performance, in particular improv, and they're always one of the things that they always say is you are a different person. Like I don't you are a different person. I don't know who this person is. It's like I have to get to know you again.
Really?
Yeah.
They say that? They say that to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I have the um I don't know what it is about me, but I must have one of those faces where people aren't ashamed to tell you exactly how they feel about you at any given moment.
Yeah, I guess for me, I mean, we've been talking pretty much weekly
For
since that contest, the kind of
yeah,
dust
for
off.
which was in 2017, by the way.
Was this 2017?
Yeah, end of 2017.
Wow.
End of
Okay.
2017,
So
early. I no, it couldn't have been any later than 2017. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it just feels longer than that for some reason. I mean, which says a lot about you and me dealing with each other. Maybe like, oh my
Yeah.
god. No,
Well,
but
we've been really consistent about this. Oh man.
yeah. But
It's a good
so
thing no
I
one's
don't
watching this
see.
archive, James, because I haven't had my headphones on. And there's probably been some pretty nasty echo. Fudge. Probably been some pretty nasty
Oh,
echo.
are you adjusting technical? Are you on stage crew right now?
No, 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 no. I just tested the audio, and it seems like we're clear even without the headphones.
Okay.
So we got lucky, but it's not. I should definitely try to remember to wear those headphones.
Oh, um, yeah. I guess what I'm saying is because we've been talking once or twice a week. I don't. Everything's kind of skewed for me. I don't see any change. To me, it's just everything's kind natural. Of just this is what skewed you're doing. For me, I don't. Now you're doing this and that, and So whereas some of your friends that probably don't see you as often do see the change, which is interesting.
Yeah, no, it's sort of like when you, and that happened too, actually, because I also lost a lot of weight. And so it's sort of the same
Oh
thing where,
yeah,
people don't
yeah.
see you for, years at a time, and then you come back and it's, they're sort of shocked at how much has changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's always a good thing. I mean, congrats on losing the weight. You've got some techniques that you've been doing,
Yeah,
right?
I do bar actually,
Yeah.
and I want to write like a comedy sketch or a scene in a movie where this guy is like, oh, well, let's see. How do I explain it? Bar is incredibly intense and it's incredibly hard. And when I started doing it, I got into it because a friend of mine who I met through improv
Mm-hmm.
taught one of these classes. Like, come, I'll comp you a couple classes and you can do it for free and see if you like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was simultaneously, I had just been let go from a job, and my therapist was like, "You need to get out of the house. You need to do something." And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, "Okay, fine. This seems like a good candidate for that, and free is a good price."
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and took a couple of classes, and it was, I don't know, it was just something clicked. It was the having to be on a schedule, having a teacher who helped guide you, kept you motivated, kept you focused, having a clear objective. Like when I would just go to the gym, I would just get distracted and unfocused, and then
Yeah.
you'd get discouraged and you'd leave. But because of the way the class is set up, they work different muscle groups and that kind of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a consistency to it. There was just something about some of the parts that made it something that I was like, oh, I like doing this, and
Mm-hmm.
so I kept doing it, and I have been doing it now since 2018.
Congrats, man.
So
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah, I've been doing it for a long time.
It's hard to stick with the workout and be consistent about it.
Yeah, yeah, it really is, and it's yeah. I like doing it now. Actually, I hate when I have to cancel or miss classes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, um, frankly, I wish I just discovered it years earlier more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
But
me, exercise wise, I mean, I was more an outdoorsy kind of guy. I was doing ultimate frisbee and basketball, but then that's kind of, especially now with COVID, you can't do any of that stuff.
I know.
So I've been okay. Every other day, I've been doing like an elliptical machine that Meeta got to use at home. So I've been doing that, but it's not the same. I mean, I need to kind of just change up a little bit more, but I'm working on it. But I need to kind of figure some sort of pattern out myself.
Yeah,
So, but I'm trying to stay consistent as well. But
it's hard. It is hard in this world.
I am now entering. I'm doing the walk cycle, but I need to really tweak it, and I have to think about some stuff here. So obviously, we're not going to get it perfect for tonight,
Right.
but we will. I'll see if I can go back to the main timeline of Animate, and we can see it. First of all, this whole her gait, everything's off. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
But we can just watch it here in really chunky time and look at it. Here we go. Yeah. So the time is
Already
off.
though, that's pretty
Yeah.
great. Hey,
Yeah.
that's really cool. That
So
is really cool.
we replaced Sketch
Wow. With
with
actual
almost in
animation.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
So yeah, I think that's a pretty good spot to stop for tonight.
Yeah, I
I
think
think we're at
so. I think so. That's real animation happening. That's pretty exciting.
cool.
All right. Well, thank you everybody as always for tuning in. You can find us on all the things. CalamityJane.rocks will take you right to our Patreon site if you want to visit all the stuff that we have there. We're also on Facebook and all the things. Just search for Calamity Jane. On YouTube, actually, I found just search for Calamity Adventure Hour. Jane
Okay.
is such a common word that you
Mm,
get all of this random stuff. And remember, we
mm.
spell Calamity's name with a K, not with a C. So Calamity with a K, Adventure Hour, and yeah, and then that should help you find what you're looking for all of our content. And yeah, if you enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe and like and do all the things that you're supposed to do under the law. Um,
Under the law.
under the law. And in the meantime, I might not actually be here next Monday, James. I think the play might still be going
Okay.
on Monday. So just an FYI, I will might be MIA next week.
All right. So we're gonna go to if that's the case, then I'm gonna do a stream solo again, and I'll probably go silent, and I'll just put some synthwave music on in the background, and I'll just animate next week a little
That's
bit.
that's great. That seems good. It help you make some progress, and people can watch it if they want to. Yeah.
And then we'll recap on when you're done with the play. So first of all, break a leg in
Thank you,
advance for
sir.
that.
Yes,
So
thank
there's
you
that.
very much. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, we'll still stream next week.
All right,
So
excellent. Okay, everybody. Well, have a good night, and we'll see you next week, or James will at the very least. It's still 10:30.
yeah, still 10:30,
All
and
right,
yeah, right for now.
perfect, excellent. All right, good night, everybody.
Night.
Okay.